Good morning, everyone. Uh, in the last lecture and the last video, we discussed about different rules of an root locus, right? What are the different rules we are having? That is, we are having, and first rule is that location of poles and zeros, and second rule is that we are having an determine the poles and zeros on the root locus path. That means where the root locus will be exist. The third one is we are having an angle of asymptotes and centroid. And next step we are having an point of intersection. That means the root locus. No. Before going to that thing, we discussed about a breakaway point. And next we are having a point of intersection on the imaginary axis. And the last step what we discuss an angle of departure and angle of arrival. Angle of departure and angle of arrival, we present only the angle of arrival will be there. There is an angle of arrival will be there only if you are having a complex zeros. Angle of departure only will be there if you are having a complex poles. That thing we discussed. That to find the angle of departure, we used one formula, that is 180 minus 5. And similarly for angle of arrival also we used one formula, that is 180 plus 5 we used. Now, in this thing, we are dealing with one simple problem to find the root locus. How we are going to find that root locus for a given transfer function. Right. Here, the transfer function is given that construct g of s into h of s. G of s into h of s is equal to g of s into h of s is equal to k divided by s into s plus 3 into s into s plus 3 into s plus 5. S into s plus 3 into s plus 5. Determine 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 the root locus determine the root locus for the determine the root locus for the given transfer function. For the given transfer function, there is nothing to confuse here. The same steps, whatever the steps involved, we are going to proceed with the same steps. There is no need to confuse or no need to get any difficulty. The first step is step 1. What is the step 1? We need to find out what are the roots, what are the poles, how many poles are there. Poles is equal to how many? 1, 2, 3. Zeros are there. How many zeros are there? 0 zeros are there. What are the poles? S is equal to 0 on pole. S is equal to minus 3. S is equal to minus 5. S is equal to 0. S is equal to minus 3 and S is equal to minus 5. Now we need to take that on the graph. What are the poles we need to represent? S is equal to 0. Okay, this is a 0 is a 1. We take 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 is an 1 pole and minus 3 also an 1 pole. This is the first step. Right? Is there any zero? No zeros are there. Just I am indicating the poles and zeros on this root locus. Poles and zeros are this root locus I am going to indicate. The next one, what we are having here, now we need to find out here there is no root locus. No root locus. Why? Because after this part right hand side there is no poles and zeros. Now you consider in between 0 and 3 whether the root locus will be present or not. Now we check on the right hand side how many poles and zeros are there. Only one pole and 0. So that here we are having one root locus. Here we are having a root locus. Why? Because it is an odd number. Next one, in between these two, what we are having on the right hand side of the 3, how many poles and zeros are there? 2. Only we need to focus on real axis. That means here we are having no root locus. No root locus. Again, this one after 5, it will be having an root locus. Why? We got 3 roots of it. 3 roots of it. That means the 2 steps are completed. First one is identifying the poles and zeros on the S domain on the S plane, and then you need to find out root locus and no root locus path on that particular thing. We completed this. This is a no root locus, no root locus. Right. What is the next step? Finding out. What is the next step? 2 steps of step 3. What is the step 3? Already step 2 we are written there. Step 2 and we written here also. Step 2, no need. On the graph itself it shows the step 2. Okay, step 3, what is the step 3? What is the step 3 is centroid and angle of asymptotes. How many angle of asymptotes will be there? Angle of asymptotes. How many angle of asymptotes will be there? 2. Theta 1, theta. Why? Because how many angle of asymptotes? P minus Z. That is how many poles are there? 3 poles. And how many zeros are there? 1 zero. 3 minus 1, which is equal to 2 we are having. That is, we need to find the theta 1, that is 2q plus 1 into 180 divided by p minus 2q plus 1. 2q plus 1 into 180 divided by p minus 2. What is the q value here? Q equal to 0, 1. That means that implies 2 into 0 plus 1 divided by p minus z value how much? 3 minus 0, that is 3 into 1. How much we are going to get? 180 by 3, 60 degree we are going to get. 60 degree we are going to get. How many asymptotes we are going to get? No, zeros are 0, 3 minus 0, so that we are going to get 3. Okay. Now, what is that second asymptote? What is the second asymptote? Theta 2. What is the second asymptote? Theta 2 is equal to 2 into q. Q value how much? 0 is substituted, 2q plus 1 into 180 divided by p minus z. P minus z value how much? 3. That means and again 2 plus 1, 3. That means and we are going to get 2 into 1 plus 1. We are going to get 180. And similarly, theta 3 also you need to get. Theta 3 means 2 into 2 plus 1 divided by 3 into 180. How much we are going to get? 5 by 3 into 180. 300 we are going to get. 60, 180 and 300 we are going to get. 60, 180 and 300. We are getting a 3 angle of asymptotes, theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. We are going to get 3 angle of asymptotes. Why? Because we are having a 3 minus z. 3 minus z means number of poles minus number of zeros. That is the number of poles we are having a 3 and zeros of 0. So we are going to get 3 angle of asymptotes. We calculated theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. We are going to finding these theta 1, theta 2 and theta 3. And next, what is the next step we need to find out? We calculated the angle of asymptotes. We located the poles and zeros on the real axis, and we find that poles and zeros also. The next step is we are having a centroid. What is the centroid? Centroid is equal to summation of poles minus summation of zeros by number of poles minus number of zeros. Summation of poles minus summation of zeros by number of poles minus number of zeros. What are the summation of poles? Summation of poles means 0 plus minus 3 plus minus 5 minus 0. There are no poles. No, sorry, there are no zeros. 1 divided by number of poles. Number of poles is 3 minus 0. It is minus 3 minus 5 by 3. How much? Minus 8 by 3, which is equal to minus 2 what we are going to get? Minus 2.66. Minus 2.66. Again, you need to identify the angle of asymptotes here, minus 2.66. You need to indicate this is the point of sigma. Minus 2.66. You need to take a normal graph. You need to draw the graph. You need to indicate the poles and zeros on the graph, and at the same time you indicate the centroid. Now, at the centroid, you need to draw the with a protractor. You need to draw the angle of asymptote 60 degree, 180 degree, 180 degree line, and what is this 300 degree line? 60 degree line, theta 1. This is theta 2 line, and angle of asymptote is theta 3. Is it clear? You need to take an angle of asymptotes. We need to go into identify them. The next one is breakaway point. To find the breakaway point, what we need to consider? To find the breakaway point, we need to consider breakaway point 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. Breakaway point 1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. What is the g of s into h of s? You need to take 1 divided by k into s plus 3 into s plus 5 equal to 0. S plus 5 equal to 0. So you are going to get s into s plus 3 into s plus 5 plus k equal to 0. You need to simplify this equation. If you are simplifying, we are going to get s cube plus 8s square plus 15s plus k. S cube plus 8s square plus 15s plus k equal to 0. From that, what is the k value we are going to get? Minus s cube minus 8s square. Same procedure whatever we used discussed in the procedure of an A to find the root locus of an A problem. Root locus steps. We discussed some steps in the root locus. The same procedure I am going to use it. K is equal to minus s cube minus 8s square minus 15s. What is the next step we need to do? We need to apply the dk by ds. dk by ds. Differentiate this equation and equate it to 0. dk by ds and equate it to 0. If you are doing the dk by ds, what you are going to get? Which is implies that minus 3s square minus 16s plus minus 15. Minus 15 equal to 0. So that we are going to get 3s square plus 16s plus 15 equal to 0. We are going to get like 3s square plus 16s plus 15 equal to 0. Okay. Now what is the s value? To solve this s value, what we are going to get? Solve that s value. If it is 3s square, we are getting a 3s square plus 16s, 3s square plus 16s plus 15 equal to 0 we are going to get. Then what is the s values we are going to get? S is equal to, what is the s value we are getting? S is equal to minus 1 point, s is equal to minus 1.21 and s is equal to we are getting a minus 4.1. Now we need to substitute these s values in k. If I am substituting in the k, we are going to get k is equal to, if I am substituting s is equal to minus 1.21, then what is the k value we got? K is equal to 31.63. 31.63 we got. Similarly, if I am substituting s is equal to minus 4.11, if I am substituting s is equal to minus 4.11, then k value we are getting, k is equal to 266. 266.21. 266.21 we are getting. 266.21 we are getting. Both are positive, so that both the values of breakaway are both are positive, and both the values are we can both the values are valid breakaway point. Both are valid breakaway point. That is an S is equal to minus 1.21. S is equal to minus 1.21. Sorry, this is not point. Minus 1.21 and S is equal to minus 4.11. Minus S is equal to minus 4.11. These are the 2 points we are going to. Next one, once if we are completed, we completed. The next one is we need to find out the point of intersection. Where it will be going to be located. Point of intersection. What is meant by point of intersection? Point of intersection means what we are, what is the equation we are got? G1 plus g of s into h of s is equal to 0. If I am equating, then what we are going to get? S cube plus 8s square, s cube plus 8s square plus 15s plus k equal to 0. 15s plus k equal to 0. S cube plus 8s square plus 15s plus k equal to 0. Now we need to write that s cube. What is that? S cube, s square, s power 1 and s power 0. S cube is 1. 1 after that we are having 15, 8, k. Again, if you are simplifying, you are getting 120 minus k by 8, 0. Here you are going to get. Now, what is the k marginal? If it will becomes equated to 0, 12 minus 120 minus k by 8 must be greater than or equal to 0. From this, what we are going to get? K is equal to 120. Now, what is the auxiliary equation we are going to get? Auxiliary equation is 8s square plus 120 equal to 0. From that, s square is equal to minus 120 by 8. How much we are going to get? S value. S value we are going to get plus or minus S value plus or minus 3.8 J we are going to get. S is equal to plus or minus 3.8 J we are going to get. Now you see here how we are going to draw this thing graph. Now what is the, now how many root locus branches are there? 3, right? What is the 3 branches plus or minus 3.8 J? This is the point plus or minus this is an a plus 3.8 J and this is a minus 3.8 J plus 3.8 J and minus 3.8 J. Now see here, this is a one pole. This pole is moving like this in this direction to reach to its 0, right? Another pole, here there is a no root locus, so this also will be moving like this. What is the breakaway point? This is a breakaway point. One point, what is the breakaway point we are having? 1.21. This is the 1.21 breakaway point. These two root locus, that means the pole 0 and pole 3, pole 0 and pole 3 will be coming like this, and at this point they will be collide with each other, and they are going to be moved in the direction of angle of descent force, and they are going to, when it touches the point of intersection, that is at plus 3.8 J, and again it will be going to, when it reaches minus 3.8 J, minus 3.8 J. Now the two root locus branches are considered completed. Now what is the another root locus branch we are having? That means the pole 1 completed, pole 2 is completed. Now coming to pole 5. Pole 5, is there any chance to move in that direction? On the right hand side, there is no chance. Why? Because there is no root locus on that particular side. So definitely it will be moves in this direction only. In this direction it will be moves and ends at infinity. This is a branch 3, root locus branch 3, RL branch 3. This is it will be starts from 0 pole, it will starts from 0 pole and ends at infinity. This is a root locus branch 2. This is a root locus branch 1. This is a very simple problem, right? How it will be moving from pole to 0, how it will be going to moves from pole to 0. Now how we are going to tell that up to what is that value, how we are going to tell whether it is unstable or unstable. For the value of k, if the value of k is in between 0 less than k less than 120, then we can say that the system is stable. If k is equal to 120, if k is equal to 120, what will be happen? This complete flow will become 0. So that if k equal to 120, this will become marginally stable. Here you can write this is unstable. For the value of k, if the value of k is in between 0 and 120, the system is unstable system. For the value of k equal to 120, the system is marginally stable. Marginally stable. Marginally stable. If k is greater than 120, if k is greater than 120, if k is greater than 120, what will happen? It will be reaches to, it will be going in this direction. In this direction is which part of this system is it? This is on a right half of S plane. Right half of S plane. If it will be going in the right half of S plane, then the system will become unstable. So by using by seeing that the advantage of root locus is that we can tell that with exact values from the value of k so and so value to so and so value, the system is stable. If it will be going exactly equal to k equal to 120, the system is marginally stable. If the k is greater than 120, then definitely it will become unstable. This is the thing how we are going to find that root locus. Right? Very simple problem. If you are having an angle of departure and angle of arrival, then it will be causes some difficulty. That means we need to find out where the location and how the angle of arrival and how the angle of departure will become. That is a little bit difficult. This is a simple problem. We can do that problems also very easy if you are very interesting problems. Okay, this is the concept of an root locus problem. Okay, I will stop here. Next class we will discuss some other problem.